Hey everybody, this is Steve back at the shop. I want to make a little video here on some disc brakes on a Super M that I'm working on. This particular one here is what they generally refer to as a Stage 2 Super M. It's a 53, just prior to the Super MTA. The brakes on the Stage 1, Stage 2, Super MTA, 400, 450. I think the 460 and 560s are the same. Don't quote me on it. I'm not real familiar with those tractors. This, the matter of fact, the later Super H's, Stage 2 Super H, and the 300 and the 350 are basically the same thing. This particular one here, I've already done this side here. I want to take it apart and show you what's inside. You've actually got, if you'll notice, there's 3 springs here that hold these 2 pieces together. They're identical on either side, interchangeable. On the inside of them, you got 5, what is that, probably 3/4 inch or bigger ball bearings here. They like to rust, they like to hang. When they hang, the brakes don't work. If you'll notice, each one of these holes is ramped up. That makes, when you press on the brakes, it makes that ball roll up. And as that ball rolls up, it forces these 2 guys apart. Now, as it forces those apart, if you bear with me here, inside this piece is a friction surface that has a brake pad up against it. All right, let's see, this will sit in here like so. If I can get it to cooperate here with one hand. Probably won't. Bear with me here just a second. All right, that'll sit just like that. And you will have another brake pad that sits on what will soon be the inside. Now, this particular pad here will articulate with something on the tractor. Let me walk over here and I'll show you. There's some transmission here. I'm going to make a video on that here next probably. But on the side of this Super Series, you'll notice, let me get in here a little closer. You notice that flat surface right there, that's where that other pad will articulate against. There's a seal inside of here that likes to leak. This piece will come out from this piece. This piece will not come off the tractor. Bear with me a minute here. This piece will not come off the tractor unless you remove the bull gear. This is all one solid piece right here where my hand is. If you'll notice, on the back side, you got that lip right there. It captures this thing. If you try to take this piece out, you'll hang on the bull gear. It's a lesson I learned early on. The M's the same way. This is, the outside is slightly different, but the inside is the same principle. You got to move the bull gear before you can take this out. Let me get back to the brake here. This outer portion, if you see that dent right there, you can get a screwdriver in that. There's one more in here somewhere. This piece right here will actually pry away from this piece. You can change the seal in it. You can clean this up. And pay attention here too to these teeth. This is your bull pinion drive. You see that moving your chunk there. That's what drives on the bull gear. You got a big pinion gear inside of here. Once you remove this thing will slide right out. You're exposed to some bearings. And one bearing comes out with this, and you can see the other bearing. That way you can tell. You can check your bearings while you got that apart. Let's see. Let's go back over here. It's going to be an interesting video on this transmission. What I'm going to do on this briefly here, I've got some really bad gears on one. I'm going to swap gears, but the secret to doing that, you got to swap the counter gears on the bottom that ran with the gears that you're going to replace, if that makes sense. Because if you don't, it's going to sing like a gospel quartet tenor going down the road. All right, let's get back over here. Get my mind right on these brakes here. Anyway, you'll see all this right here will clean up. It's no big mystery. This crap will clean right up. Be sure when you do this that these pieces, all this is free. all these linkages are free. Because if they're not, you won't have any brakes. And those things articulate on these little gizmos right here. That's what originally comes apart. That's where your bolts are, your nut and bolt combination there. Got that real thin little, and I mean it is a real thin little nut. It's really easy to cross thread. It's easy to screw up and mess up your day. Take your time. These springs are notorious for breaking. Somebody in the recent past, it looks like, had replaced these because these look fairly new. These are available. They're all over eBay and Steiner and Bates and every mom and pop and their brother, reliable aftermarket parts. Everybody and their brother sells those things. Same way with these pads. Now this, interesting note, this is the first time I've ever seen a pad that was riveted on. Apparently somebody old school had these relined instead of just buying replacements. The ones that came out of that one side there, if you'll look, you can see it wore into the brass rivet. So I'm not going to reuse these. I think they've kind of lived their life and they paid their dues and all like that, and they've had a happy life, and they'll go to the recycler next scrap trip. These, however, I might get stingy and just put them back in there and try to reuse them. I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty much a real fast 5-minute rundown on these brake systems here. They're extremely easy. I mean, it's nothing to get wrapped around the axle about. I mean, it's all really self-explanatory. Just make sure that these ball bearings are clean. Make sure that the pockets are cleaned out, so these things can roll up and down these grooves right here. And make sure your springs are all good. Make sure everything's free. Because when you push down on that, what do I do with my? When you push down on your brake pedal, it's going to pull this out. And when this pulls this out, this butterfly right here will actually cause these two pieces to separate. These two pieces, let me come around here. It causes these two pieces right here to separate. That's what gives you the forcing action against these pads. A little side note too, when you take these off, if you pull that bull gear out of there, that bull pinion gear, be sure that you clean the teeth out, because these have to, this brake pad has to be able to move on that shaft like that. If that doesn't move, no brakes. Okay. All right, hopefully I haven't confused you too bad here with this super fast rundown. But anyway, thanks for watching.